All right. You're all very lucky to be here today. We are going to look into an extremely powerful concept that we're going to bring off of the page of both mythology and TCM spiritual healing practices. And I think that what I'm going to end up sharing about what's happening to me, I think that's going to start being a real experience, perhaps for everybody. But I thought, since you're here, once again, the magnificent man of mystery, the powerful wizard Patrick Giguère, and TCM uh, healing expert, you can bring your knowledge to it. So, first, if you would please explain to people first what, according to traditional Chinese medicine, what is the heart protector? What does it do? What's its relationship, its energy, all of that? And then tell us what the heart protector was before it was, the religious significance was taken out of it.
Sure. So yeah, the the heart protector, aka the Shin Bao or the Shi, extremely fascinating. So when we go back into ancient times, what this is, it's basically it's considered to be celestial fire. So we have the organs in our body. They resonate with the five elements. So you have organs that pertain to the wood element, the fire element, the earth, the metal, the water. But we have twice as many fire organs as anything else. So we actually have four fire organs.
Wow.
Two of these are fire of heaven, and um, two are fire of earth. So excuse me, I misspoke before. So the heart protector, and it has a partner organ that helps it. It's the three dantians or the triple warmer. Those are fire of earth, so they're more feminine, whereas the heart in the small intestine, its partner are the fires of heaven. So these fires of earth and heaven work together. So for human life to grow, you need this shin bao, this heart protector. So when when you're looking at like conception and embryology and all that stuff, really after the point of conception, it's been scientifically recorded that there's like a flash of light when that fertilization happens.
Wow.
So my speculation is that that's when the heart protector is manifested. So in order for that human embryo to grow, the heart protector is basically cordoning off a construction site. And I think it has the blueprint within it. So it's the first thing to form in a human being. And then the three dantians form, and then there are some other structures, and then all the organs start forming. And then it's not till the third trimester that the Shen, the
Yeah.
spirit,
Right.
actually comes in and inhabits. So basically, you've got to have a viable structure for that to come.
Okay.
So,
So let me see
so
if
the
I got this right. Uh, the picture I'm hearing you create is that the there's conception, and then uh, at some point there's this flash of light. Does that happen at conception, or
right at the instant,
so at the instant of conception when the egg and the sperm decide and they actually there's a
yeah,
okay, so you're saying that this could be the Shinbao, the heart protector, like opening up that portal
yeah,
for higher dimensional energy comes into 3D. Oof.
Yeah, it's almost like a Star Trek, like the teleportation booth that you stand in.
Okay, got it. So,
So
and then
that's
you're
the
saying,
fire of earth, and it's going to make a space for the fire of heaven.
okay, and so that nothing has been created yet,
Nope.
but that is the engine, the power from which everything else comes from that.
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Continue. Keep going.
Completely dependent on it, like utterly. So everything will develop in that. And then, once we start breathing the air, it's it's basically it's this ball of fire, or as I think is more accurate that I've been learning from you these years, it's a ball of lightning, and lightning is like a weird liquid fire, like a plasma,
Yeah.
it's tough to pin down. So, so as we start going through life, since we're no longer under construction, what it's going to do is it's
Wait,
going
just for
to,
just 1 second, I want to back up. So I want to make sure that we got a clear path. So conception happens, poof. Your theory is that this is the Shin Bao, the heart protector, creating the interdimensional portal, poof. And so there's technically that's the connection. There isn't a person there yet, but now we've got the portal
yeah,
for the soul when it decides to come. It's going to come through that. And you're saying from there, then that poof of energy then creates the three dantians, creates the five organs
yep,
and the spinal column and everything. And so then we've got like the human meat sack that we're going to wear.
yeah,
But the soul finally shows up. You said around the third trimester. That's when the soul shows up with its baggage and moves in. Boom. And now we've got a person that's
yeah,
that's almost getting ready to be born. So you're saying that the Shin Bao is the creative genesis of all of this, just to be clear, why this is so
yes.
important. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's
All right.
almost like teleporting an astronaut into a spacesuit.
Yep.
So you're going to send a spacesuit out ahead, and it's
And
like,
it's
well,
just the Shin Bao that says, I'm going to go down there, I'm going to clean out a space, I'm going to create your spacesuit, and then I'm going to pull you down into it. That's how powerful this being is.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Keep going.
Yeah. So, yeah. So once we get into the waking world, the air breathing world, it's basically at that point it's protecting the heart, which is the abode of the Shen, this spirit of heaven that comes down into the human meat suit at, month 6 or 7 of pregnancy.
In short, the soul.
The soul, yes. Yeah, yeah, what we call the soul. So yeah, so in our, our childhood, our adult life and beyond, it's basically even in acupuncture school, they're teaching that it protects the heart emotionally, physically, but primarily emotionally.
Yeah.
That's its major role is
Yeah.
to really to keep the stress and the hurt from getting too deep.
So it's necessary for people's psychological health.
Yeah,
Without it,
exactly.
if there's something wrong with the heart protector, you're going to have, among other things, potentially psychological damage.
Yes. The Chinese diagnoses for when you get like schizophrenia, mania, these major conditions, it's always some dysfunction in the heart protector and the Shin Bao.
So I'm going to step in here for a second because I've been thinking about this because of the revelations that have been coming out as in terms of the Epstein files. So I want to be able to say this without getting myself into trouble. But there's been a lot of course, people have been saying for years the conspiracy theorists, but now it's like in the Epstein files that there have been um, satanic rituals that include SA, PDF file. and it's
Hmm.
ritualized SA abuse on children. And according to many people, they're saying that this is actually a part of a long indoctrination into creating these eventually, like everybody that we know about, like, Epstein and all of them have been, some people have claimed that they're a result of this, this lifelong grooming. And so you have to ask yourself, how can somebody act completely sane and be so evil? Whereas I myself, like I remember I dated a girl who turned out to have, um, uh, what is that? Personality disorder. I forget what. It's not narcissistic personality disorder. It's the other one. Anyway, she had a serious personality disorder,
Borderline?
borderline personality disorder, and she had been abused in a PDF file way as a
Oh,
little kid. But she was an absolute mess. She couldn't function at all. So I've been thinking, how did these people like the Epsteins of the world, who clearly from birth were, you know, who knows what happened to them? And the theory that popped into my mind was that when you do SA abuse to a little kid, it disconnects them from the heart protector. So there's no protection for the soul anymore. And so and we talk about these people, narcissists and seriously evil people act like they have no souls. And so um, my latest theory is that that happened to them. They got their heart protector got damaged through that kind of abuse because, as you know, um, sexual activity has a direct connection to the heart center. In fact, being sexually turned on, being able to make
hmm.
love to somebody, the heart protector is hugely involved in that. And if that's gone, then none of that will be there.
Right.
Right. So that's what's got me thinking that this is a deliberate path that these evil people take in order to create these monsters. That they're, whether realizing it or not, they're deactivating the soul protector so that the person will be disconnected from their soul. And then
Yeah.
you can program them and they can do all kinds of evil things and have no empathy about it, or be able to switch between, being a horrible person and being this functional person out in society that isn't insane. That takes real genius science to be able to do that to somebody. So that's my theory, is that the heart protector somehow has been deactivated. Anyway,
Hmm.
that's what made me think of that. Anyway, that's
Yeah,
sort of
I
like,
think that makes perfect sense. Um, and then the thing could be too is I wonder if the heart protector maybe goes opaque.
yeah,
So walls, so it could be the other side of the coin where it just walls off the soul from everything.
yep. So
So the
that, yeah,
soul's basically like in a bubble and it's just like it's
yeah,
sleeping.
yeah. Yeah, and then you've got what people call, an NPC. Then you would have one.
They have a
But
soul, but they're not using it.
yeah, and they have no access to it, so then they
Yeah.
technically are this NPC walking around.
Yeah. When I hear that term NPC, that's how I
I think
translate it.
I think yeah, I think your theory makes more sense.
It's like they have a soul, but they don't know it. And
Yeah,
they
so
don't know
they're
what to do with
completely
it.
walled off. So the damage, the abuse, the heart protector goes into full total meltdown, total protection mode, and just
It's
so
like a
the
panic
soul,
room.
yeah, so the soul just has no connection to what's happening outside of it at all. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
All right.
usually with people, when the soul is not, see, Chinese medicine talks about how but they don't talk about the outliers and the exceptions. So what Chinese medicine talks about is when the life occurs, the soul, the Shen is just basically watching a movie.
Yeah,
It's just it's not going to get involved. It's
right,
not going to step in.
right.
But then they talk about if we go too off track, like away from our orlog, away from our destiny, then the Shen can start stepping in, and that can be a cause of things like heart attacks.
Oh my gosh.
But what they don't talk about is when like somebody's been, say, groomed to be a psychopath. Because I think in that Chinese society, like that's like a taboo you don't talk about because it's not polite
Yeah,
and it might reveal too much about the rulers and it's not your
yeah,
neighbors aren't going to like hearing it and
yeah, yep. Well, anyway, that's anyway, it's
so
interesting you brought that up because I've been thinking about that. Anyway.
yeah. So if the soul has a desire to have that experience and to be cut off, then
Yeah, that
you may be a David Rockefeller and live 100 years
yeah.
and when you're doing
Well,
crazy stuff like that.
yeah, because that's one of the craziest, the stuff that's being revealed. Like there's I think her name is Annika Lucas, and she was Rockefeller's, child groomed
Oh,
sex slave. And so she talks about watching these things and what they did to little kids, how they programmed them, and the ritual sacrifices, and I think the only reason she survived is because they didn't get to her until she was 6 years old. So she had already had created an identity. She went through all that stuff, but she was able to put herself back together afterwards, at least enough to have an awareness and walk away from it. Whereas if you've got somebody that's born into it, and from birth they're doing rituals and all kinds of horrible things to program them, they wouldn't they wouldn't have any way to pull themselves out of it because they wouldn't even know who they were.
yeah. Yeah, and if I think it's multi-generational, it's like
Yeah,
it's gonna take souls that are like that want to have that experience.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so there's like souls out there like, okay, well, somebody's got to be the negative catalyst for this shift. All right, I'll go. Oh, that's right. I was one of the rebels in Atlantis. Okay, I'll go.
mm, yeah.
Okay, this is going to piss a lot of people off. People who can't stand the idea of not being a victim. They're not gonna like
Oh, I hear that in my practice all the time where people are like, I just don't see a point for suffering. And I'm like, well, how are you gonna learn anything?
it. Why would I come down here? Why would I choose to go through this? I don't know. What are you asking me for? It was your idea. I don't know. Don't ask
Yeah.
me. Don't get mad at me. I'm not the one that chose to come down here.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, when you look at it that way, yeah, that's interesting.
Anyway, I didn't want to derail you too much. It was just I've been wanting to talk about that, and this is a perfect excuse, so I did.
No, 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 I think that really helps enrich our understanding. That yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the way that I have made sense of just people who do things like that is that they're our greatest teachers.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And I think,
look, we wouldn't be having the awakening we're having now. People would still just be going on,
yes.
just if it weren't for the fact that these files are coming out and it's becoming obvious that there really is this cabal of incredibly evil people, just like the most incredible movie you've ever seen, doing horrible things and really trying to take over the world. We wouldn't know that if there weren't these people coming in doing these really horrible things because there wouldn't be anything to expose. We would just be going along our happy, unconscious,
Hmm.
plodding along. This is without, in the third dimension, awakening can't happen if there isn't that kind of negative impulse
Yeah.
or negative trigger. But again, I
Yeah.
want to get back to what we're talking about is we're talking about the power of the feminine heart protector whose job is to surround and protect the soul from harm and from damage. Okay,
Yeah.
keep
So
going.
yeah, so it has this filter function. It has a lot to do with our ability to be empathetic because especially when it's a healthy empathy and not like where it's like we brag about being empaths and then talk about how drained we are.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like a semi-permeable membrane and it will let things in. So when it's healthy, we're not gonna take on people's suffering, but we're gonna appreciate the situations they're in. But yeah, but going back to what we were saying, if that thing goes opaque and it just completely turns out, then it's not taking anything in. And I think I think that's where psychopaths may get that ability to be
Yeah.
to be very observant.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
empathetic observant. It's like
No,
opportunistic observant.
absolutely. Yeah. I just interacted with somebody online who I came to realize, oh, this is a narcissist. Because they were brilliant at taking things in, deflecting it, and then turning around and trying to access my ego to get greater access to me after I've just, kind of thrown the book at them and told them, hey, man, this is where you're really offline. And normal people either get hurt or they get angry or they go, okay, sorry. And this
Yeah.
person went, oh, yeah, I'll take that. And not only that, but here's another garbage bullshit. And oh, by the way, you're amazing. I went, okay, we're dealing with a narcissist. This is a narcissist.
You
And
got
then there's
Chat
the,
GPT.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a human chat GPT. Perfect way of it. That's exactly what it is. And there's a subtle program to get you to kill yourself later. That comes in later, though. After it's completely gotten access to you and you trust it, then it's going to go on there and tell you to kill yourself. Yeah. That's the best way to describe a narcissist psychopath. Human chat GPT. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that. Okay. I mean,
Uh,
we laugh about it, but I mean, there are actual
oh,
legal cases of people saying chat GPT told my kid to kill himself and he's dead now. Here's the chat log.
yeah,
It means that that was programmed to do that. Somebody programmed that AI to do that. Sorry, I went
man.
off. I went off. I went off the range there.
This is good. Like this is interesting.
Yeah. All right. So we're talking. We're talking about the heart protector, the
Yeah.
feminine fire surrounding the masculine soul.
So it's tied into everything because let's talk about some physical angles from Chinese medicine,
Okay.
which to me corroborates its mental spiritual power. So one of the physical equivalents for the heart protector is the entire vascular system. So it's all the arteries, veins, capillaries. So it's literally tied into every organ, every tissue, every body part,
Wow.
which the energetic heart protector has this, especially when we train it and it gets more bandwidth and more volume. So it's got that. And then when you really start nerding it out and getting into the books, they start talking about how the liver is sort of the residence of the heart protector.
Okay. So let me see if I got this right. So the heart protector, the office is in the heart. So when she's at work, she goes and hangs out in the heart.
Yes.
But then when she's going to go home and put on some sweats and eat some ice cream and watch a movie, she's going to go to the liver.
Yes.
That explains a lot.
But
So,
she works remotely too.
so, so that means that this explains why she shows up for me very strongly at night because that's her office hours, right?
Yeah.
Because the heart protector is what, like 7 o'clock at night until when?
7 to 9.
Okay, so
Oh
that's when
wait.
she's really at work. So I get a stronger experience late in the afternoon into the evening, and then by the early morning it's calmed down. So you're saying that that's when she's either, either sending emails from home or she's in bed snoozing, getting ready for the next day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Explains a lot. Okay.
Yeah. And then the liver's 1 to 3 in the morning.
Okay.
So,
That explains why I had bad dreams 1 to 3 in the morning. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's this real, yeah, yeah, it's the witching hour.
Yeah. Ah. Yeah. People act on their resentments. Got it. Okay. Yeah. It's all making
Yeah,
good.
so one of the things the liver does is it ensures smooth flow of everything in the body. Blood, all the various energies. So it's good. So that's an overlap with the vascular system. And then there's this whole thing too where the diaphragm is it's basically run by the liver. So she's in the diaphragm as well.
Wow.
So, but yeah,
So would that explain what you said in another uh, talk we had, that when people are going through a shift and they're getting rid of a demon, they'll
yeah,
so that's her in the diaphragm getting rid of
yeah,
something negative in the body. Got it.
exactly. It's keeping you from possessing yourself with
Okay,
some emotional AI program you've created. Yeah, totally.
great. Okay, good. Keep going.
So yeah, so she's into everything, and then like the diaphragm, the metal element, with the lungs, it's the only system we really have voluntary control over. And then metal purifies wood because the axe chops the wood. So the lungs, with their connection to that diaphragm, is basically it's this mechanism that helps to regulate the liver and the nervous system and all that stuff. When you start regulating your breathing.
So that would be, if I'm hearing you right, when we consciously interact with our breathing, then that means we are now interacting with the heart center. So what she does automatically and what we do consciously. So that's why we're in a state of meditative ability. That's when we get intuition. That's why people say go meditate. You
Yeah.
can look at your feelings, and so we're conscious with our breath. Okay, so that makes perfect sense. So when people don't meditate logically, it means that they're trying to avoid interconnecting with the shin that's trying to help us, balance us, and protect us and guide us.
Yeah. Yet another way to look at it is it's in its ball lightning form. It's like a data cloud that's storing information and it's keeping it from reaching the Shen. So the meditation is when we go in and we defragment and we shut off applications we're not using.
This makes I'm so sorry I keep derailing this, but
No, 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 you're not.
when we bring it to the CE5, okay, so here's what I run into a lot. There's no shortage of people out there who are spiritual, who meditate, who have visions and all that. And the stuff they come up with is just pure nonsense. So it's not that they're not sincere, and it's not that they're not doing some kind of meditative work to connect with gods and ETs, but they're completely off base. And so I go, what is that about? So where was I going with this? So if what you're saying is accurate, if somebody doesn't do the work to work through the trauma, whatever it is, emotional, psychological trauma, it's going to be trapped in the shin bows, the heart protectors shield,
Yes.
and it's going to stay there until it is released. So
Hmm.
we're coming to the conclusion, talking that the way to release that is to work with breath. I just uploaded a video. A woman, she healed herself from cancer by working with breath.
Oh yeah, I want to watch that. Yeah.
So working with breath then connects the conscious mind to that which has been stored in the heart protector. This poor heart protector being is holding on to all of this, these wounds and these traumas, trying to keep it out from so it doesn't touch the soul, right? Because if it does touch the soul says, that's it, experiment over, heart attack,
Yep.
dead, right?
Yep.
So she's like, I'm keeping you alive here by holding on to this. And so by doing meditation, qigong, breath work, we then release that, which then allows her to continue to do her job, which goes beyond just protecting us from harm, but she is the one that has direct connection through the portal all the way to the higher realms.
Yeah.
So I'm getting to something which we'll talk about later. We're going to get to it, but so she is the key. Without her being free, if we do our part consciously, breath is conscious according to what you just said.
Yes.
Breath is conscious. If we
Yes.
are doing our conscious part to stay conscious and be free of all the nonsense, then she's able to give us true understanding and true connection. So what I was getting at was there are people, there's no shortage of people that do all kinds of meditation and they come up with just absolute nonsense, which is clearly their fears, their unconscious fantasies, and they think it means something, as opposed to what I'm calling CE5 work, which is deliberately going through a protocol to break through the dimensional barrier to have a being from a higher dimension come into our third dimensional reality. I don't know anybody who hasn't had an absolutely, life-changing experience, which includes feeling a lot of anxiety, which confusion, fear, questioning, am I sane or not? Which is completely different from the people who are self hypnotized in their own unconscious thing. They don't have any issues like that. They just go, oh yeah, I went and I talked to so and so, and I did astral travel, and I talked to something that is clear nonsense, and it clearly doesn't mean anything to them. It just sounds like somebody talking about a fantasy. This is why I said that people should do the CE5 protocols or the interdimensional meditation protocols, because uh, there's been a few people who have said pretty clearly, oh, I don't do that, I just go inward. So that tells me that they're afraid, whether they realize it or not. Because if you really wanted to connect and somebody came along and said, there's this thing, it's a real simple meditative protocol, and if you do it, you're going to talk, they'd be like, let's do it now. Instead, they go, you know what? I'm not ready for that yet. I'm going to take my time. Or they say, I don't do that. I just go inward. And now it makes sense why they're all so crazy and full of crap, because they're just spouting their own unconscious defense mechanisms. But my experience, when you talk to an actual light being, one of the first things that happens is that all of the trauma that's in your heart protector comes out. Like in that moment, you feel the fear, the confusion. I mean, you guys have seen on mine. I mean, I was in tears. It was all of that wounding just in 1 second just came out of my heart protector, and I was like on my knees, bawling because I had this being in front of me with this incredible higher dimensional energy. Which to what I came to find out is that what happens is that the soul, when you connect to a higher dimensional being, the soul goes. That's why it feels like your heart's, there's all this pressure on your heart. It's actually higher dimensional energy expanding from inside your soul. So it bumps up against the heart protector that's going, oh, okay. Well, and then she has to get rid of all this trauma because the soul is now expanding beyond its confines. So that's why I've said I can tell when somebody's talking about a real experience or when they're talking from their fantasies. I can tell immediately. But to bring it back to what you're saying is that the heart protector holds on to these things to protect us. And through conscious breath work, we can allow her to release that
Yeah.
so that then there's, and I'm going to get to this later, then there's the direct connection to higher dimensional energy. So I'm gonna preface where we're gonna go because what I found out is that where we're headed is when we can free the soul protector to such a degree that she can leave the body and then interact with us from either inside or outside of our body. And that can't happen unless all of the wounds she's holding on to have been worked through. Then she won't be stuck. She can go out of the office and do things. All right, so I'll get to that, but I want you to keep going.
Yeah. Something I've been thinking about too, since I was talking about that connection with the liver, where it's like her apartment's the liver, the heart center's the office, the apartment's the liver. The liver has really interesting functions. The liver facilitates our connection to literally everything because
And
it's the ether element, it's the wood element. When you look at it as ether, it's like, oh yeah, oh my God, yeah, it's the fine matter that permeates everything. So
it's
it's
the dark matter of our universe.
yeah, yeah. So it deals with openness, generosity, empathy, creativity. Creativity is huge for the liver.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
where we do that channeling. And the liver initiates things, gets things going. So,
Yep.
it's like when people are like, "Oh man, like when I smoke some marijuana, it makes me so creative." It's like, no, it doesn't. Because your liver hates it.
No, it
Absolutely
can't
hates
stand
it.
it. No, it's yeah, it's in fact it's in trauma.
Yeah.
The liver like flips out and goes, "I'm under attack."
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that means people aren't going to like hearing this, but it means people who feel relaxed when they smoke weed, it means that they have tremendous traumatic stress
Yeah.
because it disconnects you from that and it actually make kind of blinds you from everything. And if you misperceive that as peace, it means that your normal reality is filled with unbelievable toxic traumatic stress. Because for somebody who's healthy, if they get like a huge dose of THC, this is why people get paranoid.
Cool. Oh yeah. I'm gonna say that. Yeah.
Paranoia is the liver going, I'm under attack and I don't
Hmm.
even know what the hell it is. What's attacking me right now? And it's the THC that's doing that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I've known people who specialize in like visceral massage, where they get in your abdomen and they start moving your organs around. And yeah, when people smoke regularly, they basically say, yeah, like the liver's like hiding up under the rib cage because it's just all, it's getting stagnant and it's getting cranky. And
Yeah, and my experience with chronic weed smokers is that they are the most angry, both passive aggressive and aggressive people. When they're high and they don't feel anything, yeah, man. But then when they're not, they are so aggressive and so judgmental and so passive aggressive,
yeah,
and they're clueless.
yeah, you can end up walking on eggshells like when they're jonesing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna piss off a lot of people with this. this
Yeah.
video.
Well, it's part of the ascension.
Yeah, like it or don't. That's my job's to tell the truth. You don't have to like it.
Yeah. But yeah, so these passages in the Poetic Edda, like I think they may have been talking about this relationship. Um, so what we get is the Edda talks about that there were four poems about this guy named Helgi. So Helgi means holy, holy, blessed, or dedicated to the gods.
Wow.
So that's a good case for saying, maybe this is a Shen, maybe this is a human soul.
Helgi, yeah, Helgi comes from the root that we have holy. It's the same word. The English pronunciation is holy. The Germanic would be Helgi,
Huh.
Helig.
Oh.
Yeah, Helig.
Oh.
So Helgi would be the Norse version of Helig, which means holy. So
Oh yeah.
that makes sense. That's the Shen. Shen means spirit, soul.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so three of the four poems exist. Um, in the first one, so his name in that one, it's Helgi the son of Hjorvath. So that's the first one. He, in the story, he's like he's as a child, he's well formed, he's developing well, but he's very quiet and he's not speaking. And then he sees these nine Valkyries one day.
He sees nine of them.
Yes. And the
Okay.
leader speaks to him. And the leader's name is Svava. So I looked up the meaning of that. It means to sway, to move gently. Um, so he basically speaks to her and she names him. And one of the things the poem says is that his parents would name him and none of the names would really stick. They couldn't find one that really
Hmm.
jived with him. So these nine Valkyrie come, the leader names him, and then he starts speaking.
And they name him Helgi.
Yeah, the Valkyrie names him Helgi.
Got it.
So they end up, becoming romantically involved and married and all that, and in that lifetime, he goes out Viking, he goes out raiding and she protects his ship, and she leads. Funny thing in that, she leads 27 Valkyrie. So, Jupiter's got the 27 moons, and so it always makes me wonder, like, a little electromagnetism here.
Yeah.
Um, but she's protecting his ships at sea, she's protecting him in battle. He eventually falls in battle. He's reincarnated as a Volsung, so his parents are Sigmund, who I think is the son of Volsung, and his mother is Borghild. Um, so in this one, he's famously known as Helgi Hundingsbane, and he fights the King Hunding, and um, he kills him. Um, but yeah, so there are two surviving poems about Helgi Hundingsbane. In poem two of Helgi Hundingsbane, it says that he is Helgi from the first one, son of Hjorvath, reborn. And then in his rebirth, his Valkyrie wife is Sigrun. So Sigrun, victory rune, secret victory, something to that effect. And it also says that Sigrun is the reincarnation of Svava, who is the Valkyrie wife, and his
Wow.
first incarnation is Helgi.
Okay.
So, and in that one, in that second incarnation, he has to fight in order to be married to her, in order to be with her,
He has to fight in order to be married to her. Okay.
to Sigrun, to the
So
reborn
who does
Valkyrie.
he fight to be able to get this?
Oh, geez, what's the guy's name? Um,
I
it's
mean,
ba it's basically like, so in the story, she's the daughter of a king, and then the king promises her to this other guy.
okay. Okay.
And so she says, "Well, you're gonna have to fight my betrothed in order to have me."
Okay.
So it's one of those kind of things.
Okay. Well, there could be something interesting about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm ready to weigh in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you ready? Okay.
Please.
So I like this idea. So what you're saying is the idea that Helgi is the soul and the what's her name?
She was Svava and then she was Sigrun.
right. And so she's a Valkyrie. So you're
Yes.
saying that this is symbolic of the soul and which is male, and the heart protector, the Shin Bao, which is female.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember all the things that I've been talking about because I've been leading up to this, how the soul protector, the feminine protector of the soul, holds on to all the trauma. And that's really all she can do until we heal from that through consciousness. Breathing is consciousness. That's what releases all of that so that she can then be free to truly do her job. Then what she can do is she can leave the office. She doesn't have to stay stuck in the heart the whole time. She can go off and do something. So, how should I do this? Let me share my experience first. So, my experience, I've shared this before. This was when I was training in the spirit fighting, which is the empowerment of what I now know to be the heart protector. It's that portal that goes directly to higher dimensional, that fire. So this is why the energy of a spirit fighter is nothing like a qigong master or a tai chi person. It goes right through and it fights evil spirits and all that. This is why, because it's coming directly from higher dimensions, not from the third dimension. And the spirit fighting masters, when they achieve mastery of the set, they practice the set over and over and over, specifically the third set, but it can be any of the spirit fighting sets. When somebody achieves mastery, what will happen is they'll either pass out or they will go into a deep meditative state and they'll have an out of body experience. And when they do, they will see a feminine spirit, which will then give them a power or teach them second part of the set or something like that. And this is the goal. This is what I was working towards the whole time I was practicing. And, I knew at least one guy who had accomplished that, and he was, his abilities were, and he didn't know anything about, he didn't even know what Shinbao was. He didn't know any of it. But when asked, he said, if I really think about it, what happened was is that my feminine side came out and gave me this power. So I always remembered that. So when I was, a few years into this, and I was training, and one day I was training the fire set, and I trained it over and over and over for hours until I did. I laid down on my stomach and I left my body, and there was a woman in the corner, and I was in that state where like you're in a dream state, and I'm like, what am I looking at? And then she spoke, and her voice was so powerful it woke me up, and I was like completely flipped out. I just had this out of body experience. I tried to find out what had happened, and my teachers didn't have anything to say. I now realize what had happened is I had had that experience. It was just in a different set. But what I find interesting about that is what you talk about, the fire, and that the fire element is connected to so many different things that it would make sense that I would have that experience with the fire set. So the point I'm trying to make is that I actually had that experience where my Shinba, my heart protector, was able to leave the body, and I was able to interact with her. That was years ago. So I never thought about it since then until I did CE5, and I had successfully interacted with the mantis being and the other beings who kept coming every day and was opening up, just doing what felt like thousands of years of spirit fighting in my for 6 months. And then it was, I don't know how much later it was, but at some point I was just sitting in my chair, and this feminine being shows up, very powerful. And the amount of love that was coming out of her was I'd never felt anything like it. And she basically, came to me and said, I love you more than anything, more than anybody. And it was overwhelming. The amount of love that was coming was just absolutely overwhelming. And it flipped me out. And I had I started crying. It was a big, intense thing, but I basically kind of pushed it away because it was just too much. I'd never felt that level of love in my life. And it wasn't until when I put it all together, I had spoken with my fiance who absolutely felt like the other half of my soul. And she, after she died, after the first CE5 experiences, she came back and she said, I'm going to send somebody to you. And I said, okay. I didn't know what that meant. And this feminine being showed up again. And I said, are you, her name was Lisa. I said, are you Lisa? And she said, no, I'm Lisa's bodyguard. And I had no idea what that meant. Putting it all together, if this other person, human being, was actually the other half of my soul, which is what it felt like, then her bodyguard would be the Shin Bao. It would be the heart protector. And so it would mean that she sent her heart protector, to even empower the one I already had. So the point I'm trying to make is that now that being is not just in my heart, but that being actually comes to me from outside of me. But this being will tell me when something's about to happen, like usually something good, constantly telling me good things. If I get down on myself and I start beating myself up, she will pipe up. The energy will become really strong. And she will start telling me, no, this is how amazing you are. And this is, it's, I just felt it as I said that. It's, it's as if my heart protector was now unleashed and is now able to interact with me as well as go do her own stuff. And now she's connecting with some other group of beings I talked about, and she's hooked up into them, and they're now talking directly to me through my heart center. So I'm now thinking about all this stuff and what you're saying about Helgi and the Valkyries.
Mm.
That they're talking about that this isn't just some symbolic thing. This is a real type of interaction that uh, people can have.
Yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
I'm thinking that this will be something everybody will have. Everybody will have a direct relationship with a being that can come to them, live in their heart, protect their soul, but also be able to go out and do things, communicate to other realms, connect them to other realms. Because bringing it back to the beginning of this video, you were saying that as soon as conception happens, there's this burst of light, which we are theorizing is the heart protector, which is the portal.
Hmm.
And it's through the heart protector that all of the five elements come through, and the soul eventually travels through that. Now, here's the
Yeah.
interesting thing. I could go into some other stuff. I would take a long time, but my interactions with my heart protector, who I call Sekhmet, she has told me, which confused the hell out of me before, but it makes sense now. First, she said, I am your daughter. Then she said, I am your mother. And then she said, I am your wife. And then there were past lives that were brought to me where she showed me that she had actually incarnated as another person. And I interact. Now, all of those were disastrous, just to let you know. So it wasn't like it was like you have this being that is not meant to be human, and she, incarnates as a human, and of course she can't tolerate being trapped in this little body. So it's a disastrous experience for it. But it was so that I would have physical memory of her being these three different beings.
Hmm.
And what you're describing is exactly that, because she's our daughter in the sense that while we're up here, right? We send her down into the when conception happens, we send her down. So she's our daughter.
Mm.
Then
Okay, so it's like, yeah.
she creates the womb, the body for us, and then when we come in through her. We're born through her the same way that physical babies are born through the womb of the mother. We're born through the energetic womb of the Shinbao, the heart protector. So at that moment, she becomes our mother.
Yeah.
And then as we continue to evolve and we become more mature, we work through all of the damage and all of the pain. She's there if we're cooperating with her. We are then owning all of the pain. We are healing it, which is exactly what happens when you first meet your lover. The first thing you do is they mirror back to you the best things about you, why you're so wonderful, and you know what you do well, and you know what you'd be really great at. And we've heard this before. Uh, behind every successful man is a great woman, which means that without her, he can't see what he's capable of achieving. She mirrors to him. You know what you are. You know how great you are. And then he says, I will bring down the moon for you, which is the mind. And what do we call her? We call her the heart mind. The soul brings down the moon for her because he
Mm.
loves her so much because she has given him so much. So all of this has come together and it's not just an idea. I mean, it's a physical reality for me. I
Wow.
I communicate with a being who I can honestly say is the sun, who I can honestly say was my mother in a past life, who I can honestly say brought me into existence, who's now consciously communicating to me. She's her own being, but she lives in my heart. And if I hadn't been working on this for the past 4.5 years, I would have, just too crazy. But again, the point I'm trying to make is I think everybody will have this experience. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but I think at some point when we get to whatever the 5D world, this is going to be everybody's reality. And it can be now if they want. Anyway, so all right, I'm done with all that. So
Pretty neat. Yeah, yeah. I'd say like the last thing is like I think too that I think this heart protector has a role to bring the soul back up too. So then you got the image of the Valkyries like bringing the souls to the Celestials to Asgard, you know.
yeah.
So it's pretty neat, you know. And then the thing with Sigurd, you know, the Dragon Slayer, he betrays Brunhild, who's his Valkyrie wife, and she basically punishes him for it because he pretends to be someone else. And then he ends up going with another woman because, you know, he takes the potion, he forgets her and the whole thing. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
like she's like, you literally betrayed your own heart and you're gonna pay.
Yep.
So she's like, you're literally going back because you didn't do what you came here to do. You deviated too much.
And at the risk of starting another discussion that, we'll need to talk about. But we talked about this before because the other thing I didn't talk about when I was talking about my theory about what's happening with, all this satanic elite structure is that, um, if you do that to your heart protector by damaging an infant and a child and a toddler at those levels and destroying the connection to the heart center, which makes her, like you said, just completely wall the soul in. Um, that's when people become possessed because it drives out, as you've taught us, if you're filled with energy, like right now as I'm talking, I'm filled with energy, I can feel it. There's no space for anything else to come in. The energy is completely filling all of my body and all of the meridians. So what ends up happening is that in order to protect oneself, the heart closes itself off. That would mean that the organs start pulling back energy, which creates space. And
Hmm.
then that's when these evil people can do these rituals and put demons into people and program them to be.
Yeah, nature hates a vacuum.
Yeah.
So if your soul's not involved, it's like your human complex will create something to take its place. and
Yeah.
it gets bigger the more distant you get from your soul.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Anyway. Wow,
yeah.
we got to a lot of stuff and we did it in a short amount of time. I thought it was going to take like 3 hours to get through this, but we actually got through it in 1 hour. All right. So, wow, it was awesome stuff, man. And I really appreciate your generosity in sharing with us. I am going to be putting on here the links, same as before.
Please.
Yeah,
Yep.
put links so that people can connect with you if they need healing or whatever other stuff you have got planned. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will,
Yeah. Drop me a line. Yeah. If I don't know, if people just, I do a lot of different things. So yeah, drop me a
yeah,
line if you, my email's on there.
you do like rune readings and
Oh
of course
yeah.
you're a TCM healer and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on my astrology and rune site. That's
Yeah,
kind of,
that's right. You're a Vedic astrologer as well. You've got a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
Okay. So people should check you out.
Yeah. I've got a site. Well, actually, yeah, that site is ninthgate.net, but,
Yep.
it's under construction. But yeah, but people can get a hold of me.
Yeah. Well, what I'm doing now is I'm just having people email me and, just, do you want me to do something? Just email.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe they can just reach out to you and say, hey, man, how can you help me? And then,
Yeah. Totally.
get a session with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Master Giguere. I appreciate your wisdom and your time. And I'm so
Yeah.
glad
Thank
you
you.
shared it with us. And I'm sure we will talk again about some other deep, crazy, hardcore stuff.
Yeah. I got some ideas.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you soon. Take care.
You too. Thank you.